Hello, everybody, and welcome to Modena to Maranello, your Ferrari Motorsport podcast. So today, I am back from my trip from Maranello with many exciting things from the car launch out there. And Paul thought he might like to ask me a few questions about it because, well, he wants to know because he's nosy, and he thought it might be fun to share with you guys. So we thought we'd record the whole thing and see how it goes. So over to you, Paul. Ask away, my friend.
First of all, myself and a lot of other people are very jealous of what you did and what a great time you had
Well,
that week. So yeah,
that's
fantastic to
I don't know
see.
what to say to that. Yeah.
But yeah, going with car launches, I mean, over the years, late 90s, early 2000s, the Formula One teams just went a bit crazy with them. Proper big
Big
shows.
launches. Yeah.
Yeah, music artists. I mean, we sort of remember seeing like Sugar Babes with Sauber in, I think it was
Yeah.
Austria, where they're
Mhm.
wearing the Sauber suits and helmets, and then suddenly they took the helmets off and started singing and so on. There was
Yeah.
McLaren were probably the biggest I always felt at car launches. And they had like the Spice Girls and Jamiroquai, I remember, in some of their
Yeah.
car launches. Remember Benetton, I think it was, went to Venice for their car launch, and Jordan, who
Mhm.
was sponsored by a Russian team, went to Moscow, and they're launching in Moscow, and it looked absolutely freezing cold.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Good
car
idea.
launches have been quite a big thing over the years. But I think as time's now gone on, teams are busier with obviously so many races and winter break
Yeah.
and so on that they're a little bit low key now than they used to be. I remember a few years ago, it got to a stage. I remember Haas, I think it was, their car launch was the Barcelona test, where they just basically put a cover over the car and then
Yeah.
pulled the cover off. And the press took a few photos, and there we
That's
go.
it.
Let's get the car out and running. So it's all gone a little bit low key
From
now.
one extreme to the other, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
mate, I presume
yeah.
it's in the budget cap, maybe. I don't know. So keeping it low key. But I think
Yeah.
Ferrari, over the years, they've done it. I think obviously Maranello, and then they've had the Ferrari club members go to the auditorium, I think it is, where
Mhm.
afterwards they've had the drivers and team principal and so on go on stage and
Yeah.
talk to the fans, and they're all waving flags and making noise, obviously. And then last year was really good, wasn't it? It was they created a temporary stand at the Ferrano test track for the
Yes.
SFC members. Well, those
That's
that were
right.
lucky to be
Mhm.
able to go and get
Mhm.
tickets. I know
Yeah.
they had I think a DJ getting everyone in the mood and so on, and then they had interviews with the drivers and team people on the
Mhm.
stage.
Yeah.
And then they saw the car go around the track, sort of very raw, right by the side of the track there. So that was fantastic.
Yeah.
So I know you obviously had to book early for the launch in order to get a hotel plus a good
Mhm.
price. Knowing what's going to happen, I don't know. If there is something going on, will I get a ticket? But you
Yeah.
booked
All of
it,
that.
um, and then we heard it was going to be a low key launch.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, just going over to you. So obviously, when you got there on the first, I think it was the Monday you got there. Is that correct? The day
Yeah.
before the
Yeah. That's right.
launch.
The day before.
Did you
Well.
feel
Yeah.
there was some anticipation there in the town that was the launch was the next day?
Yeah. Yeah. Going back to what you just mentioned about the law booking all of that. So I knew it was going to be a low key launch. I think that everyone kind of knew that fairly early on, like it was things were leaking out. But I also knew they were going to do laps because they always do.
Yeah,
And I knew the following day they were going to do many laps. I think nearly 200 kilometers or something like that. Like it was a
yeah,
lot they did. So I'm not sure on the exact number, but it was a lot they were out. So regardless of how
yeah,
spectacular the actual event was of the launch, I knew we were going to see stuff on
yeah,
track, which was amazing. But uh, but yeah, so I arrived on the Monday, and the anticipation was big. Yeah, it was big. Everyone was really up for it. Having and it's everyone's just waiting for this. beauty to come out, and the excitement on track, and people plan for maybe 6 to 8 weeks about where they're going to stand on the track and what they've got
Yeah,
all the signs they've written, all the flares they're holding
yeah,
out, and things they want signed, and where how they're going to get it to the guys,
yeah.
and it's really special time. So but yeah, everyone is pumped, everyone is just ready to go, and can't wait, watching the launch on little TVs or big TVs, or and then running up to the track and trying to
Yeah,
find something. Everyone had that, a plan in mind, which
yeah.
was really cool, and the excitement was off the charts. Absolutely, yeah. So well,
Oh,
you were
cool.
missed, mate. I don't know where you were. Where were you, by the way? You know,
Sorry. Well, it's funny actually. It was half term here, school half term here, which is quiet for me. My job. Maybe I could have come actually in the end because it was very
here we
quiet.
go. Here we go. Yeah, it's a bit late now, mate. Yeah.
But yeah, I did feel really jealous when I seen all your messages and photos and videos. Definitely.
Honestly,
But
honestly,
then,
well, you shouldn't feel you just missed. You were missed.
thank you very much. So on the car launch day, sort of what time did you sort of get to the track?
Well, the car launch was, I think it was at noon, wasn't it? I think local
Yeah.
time.
I
So,
think 11 o'clock UK, but yeah,
yeah,
midday European time. Yeah,
yeah. So, we took a trip up there before, not super early. I think around sort of 9:30. We went up to the track and on the bridge, um,
yeah.
and it was busy. The Sky Italia was up there, and lots of
You
fans, of
got on
course.
you got on Sky Italia, I heard. Just kind of just
Yeah,
mentioned.
so that's hilarious. Yes, yeah. Thanks for reminding me of that. Yeah, it was. As you're walking up and down the pavement there, I suddenly was aware that there are cameras, and I'm walking and filming things. Being my usual idiot self, and suddenly my phone gets a text, and it's from a friend of ours, and he says, "You're on TV." And he sends me a picture. He's taken a picture of a screenshot of Italia, so Sky Italia, and it's basically me just walking past the camera, sort of looking, like it's hilarious. But yeah, so of course, and our friend Peter was with us with his big
Yeah.
10-gallon hat on, so you couldn't miss him.
No.
And there was Michael and Adam also. We'd met the day before from
From the
the Cork.
SFC Island group. That's right, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, and it was great to meet them and hang out with them, and so we sort of all went up there together,
Yeah.
and then we came back for just to see how busy it was and where we could stand. To be fair, yes, it was busy, but there
Yeah.
are places you could stand. Everyone's
Yeah.
very accommodating, and there are your professional photographers and your guys with the drones
Yeah.
and all of
Got you.
these kind of cameras that are out everywhere. But amongst all of that are all the fans and the flags, and everyone's
I presume you have
nuts.
to wait there for a few hours before any track action. Is that right?
There was nothing on track before the launch, so we
Yeah.
decided to go back and watch the launch
Yeah. So
at
you
the gallery
realise that
bar.
when you go back, you're going to get a space, no problem, and
Yeah, I
no
didn't think
point
it was going to
standing
be an
there
issue.
for no point standing there for 3 hours and not
No,
doing anything.
I mean there were some people who had a really big setup in a different part of the track, and they decided they were going to, because there was a lot to set up. Basically, they had
Yeah.
they were standing on the top of a truck, and they had signs
Yeah.
and everything
Sure.
ready to go, and they just needed to lay it out and make sure their spot. They planned it for a few weeks, so they wanted to make sure that happened. But for the rest of us, it really wasn't a big deal. Yeah, like I say, it was busy, but there was spaces to
Yeah.
be. And So yeah, we went back, and I actually offered to Massimo in the bar. I said, "Do you want me to set the laptop up and you can put it to your TV?"
Yeah.
So we actually watched it uh, in the bar, and I set the
Yeah.
laptop up and sort of went out. And when I came back, there's like 20 people just sat around the TV in anticipation, which was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Because the
And we're all
launch
just
was
sitting in
very
there.
short, wasn't it? The
Yeah,
actual YouTube TV launch. Was it about
yeah.
just under 2 minutes, I think?
I couldn't even tell you, something like that, something like that.
Because I was sort of off in the daytime, well
Mm,
organized, so to watch the launch, really excited to watch it. But I've got a few chores to do, like food shopping and post office and all this sort of
right.
stuff. And I was really like dashing around looking at the watch, thinking, geez, I've got to get back in a minute. I was a bit longer than I expected. I got back just after UK time 11, which obviously when it started, quickly on the TV, YouTube, Ferrari launch. and nothing came up. It was like, what's going on here? Am I too early? I've got the time wrong. And then I saw a little thing saying Ferrari launch 1 minute 45 or something like
Mm,
that seconds. And I
yeah,
thought, well, click on that. And then yeah, the car was on that. I thought, is that it? Jeez. So
yeah,
all
yeah.
this planning just for like less than 2 minutes.
I know.
Um,
Yeah. No, it was funny. I mean, we everyone in the bar kind of was glued to the TV and cheering
yeah,
and commenting on the car and how beautiful it was, and
yeah,
we're celebrating and then it's like, okay, well, now we need to sort of get back up there, which we
yeah,
did,
for the laps.
and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, and so we went up there and Carlos came out first, and
yeah,
it was very polite, nice and waving and everything,
yeah.
and
So when
going
you
round and
first
round.
heard the car sort of coming down, was the excitement noise? Was it everyone would get clapping, or I don't know what was the?
Yeah, everyone was actually. I might be wrong there. I'm not sure. I think it was Charles that came out. I'm not sure. I'm
Yeah,
remembering
I think
because the second
Charles was
day
first, wasn't he? Yeah, I think
he must have
Charles.
been first. Sorry, that's my mistake. Yeah, so Charles came out first, and they were only doing a few laps that day. It
Yeah,
was the following day. You knew they were going to do a few more because it was
yeah,
their filming day. But
yeah,
and yeah, of course, he stops and waves and does some burnouts and ruins the gearbox immediately. And he goes around and has a good time, and we're all cheering and going nuts. Of course, yeah, it's
yeah, of
just
course.
it's spectacular to know that you're the
Yeah,
first, one
seeing
of
the
a
car
few
for the
hundred
first time.
people
Yeah,
to see it in person or
yeah.
on track is just
No, that's
incredible. So
fantastic. So
the
the next day was
atmosphere,
the day when everything really happened on track. So was it
yeah. The
sort
next,
of as
well, I
busy
think we
as the
just
day before, or
it was as busy, yes. Possibly a little bit busier, I think, but not
yeah,
early though. It was, we
yeah,
went up again fairly early. Carlos was out. Um, we were waiting, and Carlos was the first one out with the camera car,
yeah,
and again, just being all polite and waving and doing some nice things for
yeah,
the crowd, and so he was in and out the garage quite a bit. And in the afternoon, it was Charles, and
yeah,
who just spent a lot of day bombing around.
yeah,
And Peter was with us, so
yeah,
we had to make sure he had something he'd like to. He had his
yeah,
wonderful
yeah,
shield
yeah,
that he needed to get signed, and so I think I put some reels up on that,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. Fantastic. Yeah,
and
yeah,
Adam and Michael, they're all dashing about getting footage, and
yeah.
and
But
so
presumably,
but we
obviously, it's
managed to
all
get it.
planned, isn't it? It comes around in a general car, gets out the back. Is that right? And just jumps out the back of the
Yeah,
car,
yeah. At the end of the
jumps over
day,
the
he goes
barrier, sort of
around.
thing.
Yeah, he jumped over the tire wall,
Yeah,
and literally just started right in the corner and just came
yeah,
further and further. And you could,
yeah,
you might not always be able to see him, but you know where he is because the
yeah,
bubble of the crowd is just sort of
yeah.
following him along the fence. And he signed everything, whatever people threw at him, whether it
Yeah.
was a
No.
t-shirt or a mug or a cap or whatever
Yeah.
it was. He was standing there signing. He was taking people's phones and giving them
Yeah.
selfies or recording things. And he spent a long time doing that. And eventually he got right up to us, and
Yeah.
Peter got his shield signed,
Yeah.
and then he jumped, hopped over and back onto the track, back into the car,
Oh,
and
yeah. No, fantastic.
and off he
That's
went.
great
Yeah, it was
to see.
incredible. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, fantastic. And then a couple of days later, I think you were just strolling around and
Mm.
by the track, and then you saw the hypercar go around. Is that right?
That's right. That's right. So that day, I don't remember the day it was. That was a bit of a crazy day because we'd seen Mark Janae that day as well. I think that was all in
Oh,
the
that's right. It
same
was
day.
was it Planet Hotel? Was that right?
That's right. Yeah, we were just having lunch there. Actually, we just finished having
Yeah.
lunch, and suddenly everyone's turning, and Mark
Yeah.
Janae is walking by, and
Was he
again,
staying
luckily
there or?
he was staying in there. A lot of the
Yeah.
team was staying in there as well.
Yeah.
So, and Adam was staying in there, I think, with Michael.
Yeah.
So we kind of had
Yeah.
we I think Adam had bumped into Sylvia, so and asked Adam had asked her what time things are happening and who's going on,
Yeah.
and so we kind
Yeah.
of had a rough idea of the timings from
Oh,
the previous day because of that,
yeah.
which is cool.
That's
Um,
great. Because
But
I remember seeing your video of Mark obviously turning up, and he
well,
had a photo with Peter, didn't he? And you could
the coolest thing about that
was
was
it was
he
it was Mark's phone? Did Mark actually Mark Junaid take a photo on his phone of Peter? Is that right?
correct, correct, correct.
Yeah,
That's
it
the
was.
coolest thing, right? So we sort of, I've got some video of him, and we're all shouting, to Mark, and he sees Peter's massive hat and all in full reds, and he just stops, and he points at him, and he comes over, and he sees, and Pete wanders up to him. Mark takes his own phone out of his pocket and takes a selfie for himself. And I just thought that's wonderful. It's
Yeah,
wonderful to see that.
that was fantastic,
So
wasn't it?
yeah, it was very funny. So again, I think I put that up on the channel somewhere.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, it was
But
really good. Yeah. So sorry, going back to the hypercar, was there many
yeah,
people back at the time when the hypercar came around? Just look from you for being there.
yeah, in the morning they had the Corsa Clienti, the customer
Yeah.
cars out. So I think it was Michael's 2004
Oh, nice.
Ferrari that was going around. So we were just having coffee in the at the gallery bar actually in the
Yeah.
morning about 9:30, 10. And we just suddenly heard these roaring engines, and we're like, okay, we know what that is. And so we sort of did a little dash up there, and or I think Adam may have gone up there and seen what that was. Um, and then after that, there's a little bit of silence after about I don't know 40 minutes of that, and then the XX programmer was out, and you could hear them bombing
Yeah.
around. And I thought, oh, okay, they're doing the customer stuff today. And then we wandered up there. We heard some GT stuff going around, and by the time we got up there, nothing was really going on, which wasn't that much later, maybe a couple of hours later. And so we were just about to sort of think, oh, maybe we shouldn't, and suddenly the garage door goes up, and the hypercar comes out, and there's maybe I don't know 10 people on the bridge, 15 people, not
Wow.
many, and yeah, and so it's not got the livery on it. It's just
Yeah,
all
that's
all
right. Yeah, I
all
remember
black.
seeing the video.
Yeah, and
Was
I
it like
was
a
like,
greeny color? I don't know. Was it greeny color?
I wish I could tell him I'm colorblind,
Yeah.
but it looked black
Yeah.
to me. But
Asking the wrong person.
you are asking the wrong person. Yeah, yeah. What are these anyway?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I couldn't believe it. We're all like, that's the hypercar, that's the hypercar, right? So of course, phones out, videoing everything. Yeah, and it did maybe I don't know 5 or 6 laps, and then disappeared. So and that was it. And we waited, of course, and hoping for more, but it didn't.
No,
So
no. But at least you
um,
get to saw it. At least you saw it, and one of the only
it was just,
few see the hypercar going around the test track at that point.
I
So
know, I know.
um,
Yeah, I mean, it's just luck. It was all luck.
yeah,
I
definitely,
wish I could
yeah.
say it was planned and we had insider information, but absolute nonsense. It was complete luck. So
So, as you guys may know from our last podcast, Toby interviewed Massimo and his son Leo at their famous gallery bar in Maranello,
yeah,
which was a fantastic interview, and a big thanks to Massimo and Leo for taking time out to chat
absolutely.
about the bar. I mean, I'm sure you could have probably spent 24 hours talking about stories that
E-
the
Easily.
34 years of him running the place that will have. But no, it was
Yeah,
a great insight, and thanks again, guys, for that. So yeah, so to talk about the interview with Massimo and Leo, how it went.
it was great. I mean, we set it up for maybe what 2 months before, 6 weeks, two months
Yeah,
before I was going. So, um, and I just thought it would be cool to speak to them, and they were very receptive, and said absolutely we'd love to, which was very kind and generous of them, and to do that. And yeah, just because the history of that place and the amount of memorabilia and the amount of people that have been in it, I saw things in there that I'd never seen before. Massimo was very kind to show me so much stuff that's you know, and give me some gifts as well, which very touched that he did such wonderful
yeah,
things. But
yeah,
yeah, it was great. I just prepared a few questions, and like you say, we could have spoken for hours, but you sort of have to narrow it down to a few things that he's
yeah,
passionate about, really.
yeah.
But yeah, like you say, you mentioned earlier about the Netflix stuff. Like, that
Yeah,
that was that was fun to mention. But the history of the people that have been in there. I mean, there are two stories that I was told out there, which you know, I mean, if I was told this before, I don't remember. But Robbie Williams has been in there. Keanu Reeves has been in there. So it's pretty funny to me,
yeah,
that place has had so many people in there. Some amazing pictures. So there's a great picture with James Hunt and standing with a few people and Massimo, of course. And as you look at the picture, you realize you're standing exactly where they were because you see part of the bar.
yeah.
You recognize
Wow.
the area of the bar you're standing in, and I'm like, that's this logo behind me, or that's and I'm like
Yeah,
looking at this picture, going, that was taken right here. It's
yeah,
there's so much extra stuff like that in the bar that he was
yeah,
showing me, and incredible. But yeah, he's such a lovely guy, and he took us out for dinner one night, and we met, and Charles's engineer was there, and two or three other engineers, and just really cool to sort of hang out with them and ask them a little bit about the car. Obviously, they can't tell you anything really, but
no,
just to get a sense of their body language,
yeah,
So, um, but they're very generous people, lovely people. Leo was a lot of fun to sort of. He was really into it, talking about his karting and his helmet and stuff,
yeah.
and Massimo was super happy to do it. So, yeah,
And
it
yeah,
was a
it's
lot
one
of
of
fun.
those bars, isn't it? You feel really welcome in there, and it's a great
Yeah,
place once you've done a bit of touring or looking at sightseeing, so to speak, just to come back and well have a coffee or a beer and just sort of chat about what
and
you've done for the day.
yeah.
And it's just a very comfortable place just to be around. So it's really good. And also you
Yeah.
got took the photo which was on the Facebook page,
Mm.
which is going to go on his wall, I think, or it was already on his wall.
It's already on
Which
his
is great.
wall. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He had it printed out again. He's that was taken on the Monday night actually. So the night, the day I arrived, and yeah, and that was taken by Charles's engineer. He was in there. He came in full team kit, 24 kit, and I'm like, wait a minute, this guy, let's something go. And I recognize his face, and I'm scrolling through
Yeah,
the Ferrari pages trying to find a picture, and I found him,
yeah.
and I'm like, oh wow, that's
Wow,
crazy,
yeah, no, that's cool.
um, yeah, it was. And Massimo pointed him out, said, "I was Charles's engineer,"
So
and then I
you're
met.
the photo of the 34th year in Massimo's bar, I guess.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. And he took this picture, and there's a lot of cool people in the picture, and also there's other people in the bar that were also around. Um,
Yeah,
and the next day he'd printed out two or three of them, large sort of A4 size, bigger than A4,
yeah.
and laminated them and given us all separately. And then he
Wow.
said, and he'd had one framed already, and he said, "And I've just
Yeah.
got to find a spot for it." And in the meantime, he
Wow.
was just sat facing, but on the till. So I
Wow,
think
that's
it's in
fantastic.
there somewhere now,
So you're
it's
going to be
incredible.
there, yeah, 24/7 now, Toby, in Massimo's bar, which is
You know what?
brilliant.
It's just such an honor. Like, he could have. Why am I in that bar? Like it's crazy. So I'm happy to be there. Don't get me wrong. It's an honor, but
Yeah,
wow, it's like to be amongst that lot is incredible.
it
So
would be well fantastic. And then
it's just a
going
great
on,
memory.
yeah, amazing. It really is really great to see.
Mm.
Moving on to Massimo Leo again. Those that have watched Drive to Survive already or binge watched it already, because it is episode 8 of the season 6, for the Forza Ferrari, I think it's called, when they basically follow Ferrari at Monza and then Singapore.
Mm.
Um, it's great because they did a lot of live action in the bar themselves, and if you watch the actual episode, you'll see Leo and Massimo um,
Yeah, yeah.
quite a few times on that
Mm.
particular
Mm.
episode. So that's fantastic. You see
Mm.
photos and videos outside the bar, inside the bar, the watching the Italian Grand Prix with everything
Yeah,
going on.
yeah.
So again, fantastic to see, considering we
Mm.
covered it last week with the podcast, and now
I
suddenly
know.
it's
Yeah,
being shown
apparently
on
they were
Drive.
there a lot. apparently
Yeah.
they were there a lot, not just one time. They were there many times, filming various things and situations. So it was great to see, because it was a bit of a joke. It was like, yeah, they were here filming for a long, long time over many, many days, but they'll probably only use 5 seconds of it or nothing,
Yeah, which they
So
do.
to see
Yeah,
the
yeah,
so to see the fact that that's not the case, they actually used a lot of
yeah,
footage.
yeah,
But there's something else I forgot to mention, and I
yeah,
apologize for this. But in that picture, it wasn't just me, of course. It was Adam
yeah,
and Michael from the
yeah,
court group, and Peter as well, and a
yeah.
few other people. Hubert was there as well,
Hubert,
and Massimo's
yeah,
wife, and there's a lot of people going on in there. So
yeah.
so I
No,
apologize
fantastic.
for sort of skipping over that a second ago. It's not really all about me, I promise you. Okay, so.
So, Toby, you had a fantastic week, as we've already spoke about. So much going on.
Yeah,
Is there anything else notable that you want to talk about the week?
well, I mean, everyone there always makes me feel so welcome, and I'm truly, blown away by that because everyone's just got endless amounts of energy and time for to spend hanging out and just making you feel so welcome, which is incredible. Really, they're all legends. So I mean, other things at the test track. I saw, I mean, a few other GT cars flying around. They had the skid pad out one day, so they were making it wet, and I
Yeah,
think some driver training that stuff they were doing. So it was cool to see some high class, high performance
yeah,
cars being treated shockingly, which
absolutely.
was it's pretty funny to see that. So, but again, and Fiorano sort of drenched. They've got sprinkler
Yeah.
systems, right? So it was kind of fun to
Wow, they
see all
just they
that in
just come up
action.
from the ground sort of thing, and
It's just like watering your garden. Yeah, the
yeah.
sprinklers in your garden, but obviously, they're just onto the track and they make it wet, and then out they go.
And I suppose,
So
especially with Italy in the summer where it's so hot, they've got to sprinkle it and get the car out straight away before it dries out
exactly,
in
exactly
seconds,
that. Yeah, exactly that.
or leave the sprinklers going while the car's going around. I don't think they're allowed to do that, but I guess they
Yeah,
probably have
yeah,
to do
maybe
that.
not. Yeah, maybe not. And just some good times with people. Some great wandering around the city as always, and just enjoying taking in the sights. Um, I mean, every time I'm there, there's always a new experience. Okay, you might see some similar places, but every time there's new experiences, meeting new people. Um, it's just incredible. So thank you to everyone. If you're watching this, it was really beautiful to meet these new people and just to spend some time and hearing some wonderful stories. There was some great people in and out of Massimo's bar. Honestly, it's just such a magical place. Just to walk by the factory, have the privilege of walking by the factory and looking at it, and the old factory and the gates, and all around to the wind tunnel, and just parts of the city, walking all over it, and just sort of dreaming, letting yourself
Yeah,
dream, about and imagine and the history, and
yeah,
uh, it's really beautiful to me. So it was very relaxing as well.
yeah.
Towards the end of the week,
Oh, that's fantastic. And you're, I think,
yeah.
hopefully going in the summer again. Is that right? You're hoping to go?
Yeah, I'll be there. I mean, we've already booked next February, so that's already sorted out for the
Oh,
car
wow,
launch for 25. So we
fantastic.
got in early because we know it's going to be busy with the
Yeah. And then
with what's coming
we're
there.
hopefully going to go October time as well, aren't we? That's also planned.
October is a plan, and hopefully I can be there once, if not twice, before then as well. So
Yeah,
just little short bursts, just
yeah,
to go back. Yeah. So,
yeah.
um,
Fantastic.
but
Well,
yeah, it's immense. Yeah.
well, Toby, thanks for all the information, and I'm glad you had a great time, and really sure everyone else would say the same. Enjoyed all the videos and all the reels
I
and all
hope
the
so.
photos. So thanks for sorting all those out. That's brilliant.
My
So
pleasure.
pretty
It's all about
mindful.
sharing, Ferrari's a family. We share, we don't hold tight. So it's about giving, and just having fun and enjoying Ferrari and celebrating. So
Cool.
So my pleasure,
Cool. So, well, anyway, so thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed it. And it's goodbye from me.
it's goodbye from me.